Hi everybody, it's Peter Salom's Griniflix Adventurate and welcome to another video. Today I'm talking about black and white photography, dedicated black and white photography, and also wide angle. Yes, so it's Leica M Monochrome, M10 Monochrome, and a Leica lens, wide angle. It's a Tri-Elmar, the 16, 18 and 21mm focal lengths at f4. Let's check it out. Yes, the reason why I've chosen the monochrome and also the wide angle lens, the Tri-Elmar, I've always enjoyed black and white photography, using black and white film, developing it and printing my own photographs. That was many years ago, and since the development of monochrome cameras, and Leica is probably the leader in that, the monochrome is dedicated, the Leica monochrome, this is in this case here the Leica M10 monochrome, is a dedicated sensor for black and white. So that means there's no color array that is put in front of the sensor, which also means that you get much greater detail as well. So you burn your bridges on color and you only shoot black and white. Now I think that changes also the way what sort of images you take. It also influences the creativity that you have in your photography, I believe. So that's the reason for the black and white. And wide angle, well, yeah, the range of lenses that are available for the Leica M cameras from Leica range from about range from 16mm right up to 135mm focal length. So on the wide angle side, there's the Tri-Elmar, which is really, it's like a zoom lens, but not quite a zoom lens. It's been designed to be operating at 16, 18 or 21mm focal lengths. And it is a fixed aperture of f4 across those entire focal lengths as well, going right up to f22. And the focus will focus right down to 0.5 meters, and then depending on the aperture that you use, it will give you a range of, or depth of field, anywhere from 0.3 meters, right up to infinity. Alright, so that's a bit about the lens and the camera. The other thing I like about this combination is that it is compact. So it doesn't matter what sort of photography I do, I can just put it into a small bag. And the one that I like to use is this one here from Peak Design. It's a 3 litre everyday bag, that's what they call it, and it just literally fits in there. If you want to carry an extra lens, you can. If you want to carry a small water bottle, you can. And basically then you have a pretty much weatherproof bag here, and you can do all your photography with that. So whether I choose to go out with a wide angle lens, any of the 35-50s that I have, or telephoto 90, I don't have the 135 Leica lens, but that on the camera will fit in this bag as well. Alright, so from a lens perspective, on the wide angle lens perspective, there are options of course with my other cameras, and my other range of cameras that I have are Nikon cameras, and I do have some f-mount lenses for that as well, for my old Nikons, or my Nikon digitals. And this is the 14 to 24 f2.8 lens. So, relatively speaking, this is what you're looking at. You're looking at this huge lens. And if you add a camera body to this lens, to the Nikon lens, well, it becomes even bigger again. So, yes, I've had this lens, the Nikon lens, probably for over 5 years now, maybe longer, and I've only used it once or twice. I love using it, it's high quality, but it is big. It's big and heavy. So that's one option. So when I first got my first Leica M, I did actually get a Voigtlander, which I looked really interesting, and that was this. Have a look at this. That's a 14 to 24, and this is the Voigtlander 15mm f4.5. So really small, and yeah, I experimented with that, and I took some shots. what I found with this one is that it's got a lot of vignetting at most of the f-stops, which you can get over that, and does start to lose sharpness quite quickly from the center as well. I've done some lens comparisons on these wide angle lenses with some astrophotography, photographing the Milky Way, and there'll be a link in the video somewhere. Shooting wide angle is not something I do too often. I like my favourite focal lengths are 35mm and 50mm when it comes to full frame. But it's nice to go wide angle, and 21mm is a great wide angle for street photography, for example. But once you start to go into the wider angles of 16 and 18, even at 21 it's still pretty wide, this sort of lens lends itself quite well to architecture, I think. And I think that was one of the reasons why this lens was created by Leica, was for those commercial architectural type situations. But what I want to do is take this lens out just in everyday life and take some shots. And I found that in 3 environments, I guess, where I was able to photograph or test my imagination in the photography I was doing. And the 3 environments were basically architectural shape, which included shape, patterns, tones, textures, and also the type of photograph with a wide angle lens to accentuate the point of interest, and you'll see what I mean by that with some of the photographs that I took. And also photographs, because of its wide angle nature, you can get into a compact environment, and through its large depth of field, besides the point of interest, there are many other aspects of interest within the photograph, which means then that photograph can tell multiple stories within the one photograph. Anyway, that was the approach to these photographs. Let's have a look at the photographs, see what you think, and we'll come back and maybe talk about some of them in more detail. Sort of working backwards a little bit. So this is sort of multiple storylines where with a wide angle lens you can pick up a lot of information across the entire image and start to work out what might be the storylines behind them. You can see there's a lot of information there. Now that was taken with a 16mm focal length at f4 wide open, 1/30th of a second. A lot of detail, a lot of information in the entire photograph. This might be more of a point of interest photograph with your subject here. Another photograph, let's have a look at this one here. And let's see how that was developed. We'll have a look at the crop. So it's again 16mm. I took that at f11 and cropped it a little bit to give me that finish image there. Also a lot of detail. If we zoom right in, you can see that the lens has good contrast, a lot of detail. Now there was some editing that was done in this photograph. Brought the shadows up. My exposure levels are much the same. I haven't changed the exposure much. What else have I done? A bit of clarity, a bit of dehaze. That's about it. Yeah, so what I like about this lens, even shooting wide open, so this is f11, but there's very little vignetting. A bit of flare, but that I guess adds a bit of interest, but you can see there's a lot of detail everywhere in the shot. Yeah, I guess this shot here has a combination of everything, architectural and multiple storylines depending on where you're looking in this shot, whether we're in the restaurant here, in the supermarket, going up, about to approach the elevator, as well as points of interest. Yeah, with the wide angle lens, so that's f4, 16mm, you can actually go and zoom right into subjects. So here, you'd almost be a telephoto setting here, but we've actually cropped quite a bit. We're right down to 1,300 pixels down to, by 800 pixels. If we look at how that was edited and look at the crop, this was the original photograph, you can see, taken at 16mm, okay, 5.6 in this case here. Well, actually, can't believe that. It was probably f4 still, because in Lightroom it doesn't transfer the metadata as far as aperture is concerned. But we've cropped right in, being the monochrome. There's a lot of detail, 40 megapixel, but even that fully cropped in, we still get quite a bit of detail. It's almost a film effect with, looking more like grain, I suppose you would say. There you go. So I guess that's the versatility of the lens, that you can crop right in and you still have a lot of detail. I always find it interesting picking up a camera and a lens. It doesn't matter what it is. I think I appreciate all the design and effort that goes into making these items, and if I can sort of work out what was the original design concept behind the camera or the lens, then I try and take photographs that maximizes the potential of those design features. I find it a challenge. Occasionally I get some good results, which is outstanding, and I can share it with you, so I hope you enjoyed those photographs. Do you use a Leica M monochrome? Which one do you have? Do you like taking black and white digital photographs? Or are you using color images and then converting them to black and white in post-processing? Let me know. What are your favorite lenses, your favorite focal length? Do you use wide angle much at all? Do you have the Tri-Elmar? Welcome your experience, or sharing your experience in the comments. That would be really interesting, and obviously I will reply to any comments. I always welcome comments. I am associated and affiliated with a number of companies, and they support the channel. Much the same that you can support this channel by just giving it a thumbs up. That also helps the algorithm on YouTube. More people see the content, more people get value out of my videos, which is wonderful. However, I am associated with a number of companies. For example, iTECHWORLD, they make lithium batteries and power stations and solar generators. And through the affiliate program, it means that sometimes I can get a discount code, which then gives an additional discount. In iTECHWORLD's case, if you use the Adventure 8 discount code, you get an extra 5% discount on top of whatever discounts are running at the time at iTECHWORLD. So for example, you go to their website, you see something that's already discounted, 10, 15, 20%. And if you use the Adventure 8 discount code, you get an additional 5% on top of that. It's a great deal. Now, I have all these affiliates and discounts and deals on one site, on my shopping page of my Adventure 8 website. So if you go to adventure8.com.au, and there will be a link there in the video to the shopping page, you can see all the different types of discounts, whether it be lithium batteries, whether it be electric bicycles, dash cams, all sorts of things. So yeah, if you just go there, you can see whether there's some discount codes, whether there's some items there or products of particular interest to you, anything you like. If it helps you, if you get an additional discount, that's great. And anything you buy using those codes or links, it means that there is some benefit that comes back to the channel. It helps me produce content for you. So that's how you support the channel. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. And if it's the first time to my channel, you haven't already subscribed, then do press subscribe and press notifications. You'll be notified when the next video is out. So I better get on to the next video then. Thanks again for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Cheers. Bye.